But let me give you a little bit of background. If you can just take your left hand and hold it towards you, the palm towards you. This is an economic lessons, really. And in our business, we work with a lot of economists in terms of strategic planning for our clients. Look at the curve. And that's what our economy is going through. We all know that we have gone through this dip. Most of us would prefer to see something like this, a quick dip and a quick recovery. Recovery is going to be slow. It's going to be long. And you can put your hands down. and the point of this story is that change is upon us, but change will be long-lasting. It's not going back to business as it was before. So the question comes down to is not only has fundraising been different, but how do we manage our business differently? And I think at this point, most organizations, if not all, and some are still going through it, has gone through the cuts, gone through the management to stabilize the organization financially. Now the question is the next step. And all three of us are members of the Association of Fundraising Professionals, and in November of last year, we did a survey of organizations to get a pulse on where everybody's at. And the results came back was pretty eye-opening, I think. We sat on a panel and reviewed the results, and the thing is that most of organizations, most of you are telling us that you're looking for new sources of revenue. In other words, if you have been very grant dependent, you're doing more public appeals. If you've been doing more public appeals, you're doing more grant applications, which is kind of funny because in a sense, it's like, why are organizations going to an area that they're not familiar with? And in each organization, I think you have to look at your circumstances, and sometimes it does warrant looking at something different because your sources, your real sources have dried up, as some of you are experiencing that. But in other areas, in other situations, what you're good at, I think, you may not have, the environment has changed, and so there might be some further opportunities within the same turf that you've been doing. So in terms of, if you're going out to donors, there might be other pockets of donors that you may not have reached. We were at another panel yesterday, and there was a wealth manager that was sharing some information with us. And what opened up our eyes was that, and I'll repeat that, was that 20% of our clients, and these are high net worth individuals in Hawaii, only 20% of them have a philanthropic strategy. That means 80% of our high net worth clients are prime market. They should be involved in the community. So the question is, why not? And so, I don't want to dominate the conversation, but Patti, what's your feel in terms of what's happening out there?
Well, I think that one of the things that we really need to do is start to sharpen and focus, and that's something I'm just really going to emphasize this morning. I think from my point of view, we've been a little lax. We've had pretty good times as fundraisers. Government monies were flowing, a lot of major donors and those kinds of things, estate planning. And now we really have to get back to basics, and basics for me means communicating, talking to your donors, taking care of them, making sure your house is in order. So making sure your case is relevant, making sure it makes sense to the people we talk to, and being very strategic in terms of the focus. Not one cookie cutter kind of method, but really every donor, and I think I'm going to use every cliche I know, but every donor is one market, and I think you need to get out there, talk to your donors, get to know them. How many of you have a list of donors that you call every week? Really? I would encourage you, just that simple thing. It takes 5 minutes out of your day. I know everyone's busy, resources are getting cut, but have a list of 5 people you're going to call that week, and then the next week have another list, and just do it, get into the habit.
Gee, Patti said exactly what my notes say. It says get back to the basics. And I think that's very true, though. I think that we've had such good times in the last 3, 4, 5 years that we've forgotten about the basics. And so I kind of think about 5 steps to donor cultivation, and the first one is that you have to meet donors, right? Like Alan was saying, 80% of high net worth individuals don't have a philanthropic plan, so you have to continue to meet people, get out there, tell people who you are, tell people about your organization, get your board members to be advocates for you out in the community so that people get to understand what the mission of your organization is. Have a board member invite 3 or 4 or 5 people to a small gathering so that you can meet those people. So continue to meet new donors. The second one is to understand your donors. Understand what it is they're interested in. So to your donors, maybe doing a little survey of what interests them. For medical centers, is a woman interested in breast cancer awareness or heart disease, or what really kind of pulls them into your organization? What are their interests? And then the other thing is valuing your donors. And like Patti said, calling your donors and thanking them for their gift. Thank you so much. We appreciate everything that you did. And remembering your donors. Nothing is more wonderful than for you to see a donor out on the street and say, hey, just want to say again, thank you so much for all of your help and what it means to our organization. There's a story about one of our former U.S. senators who's now passed on. He used to keep a note card of everyone that came to his office, and he had their name at the top of the note card, and at the inside the note card he would keep the names of their kids, the names of his wife, the name of the schools that they went to, and the next time they would come in or when they wrote a letter to him, he would take out that note card and he would use it to write a thank you letter or to do a follow-up, or when he called them personally, he would say, hey, how's your son? Did he graduate from McKinley or something like that? So they knew that he remembered them, and that's really important because that draws a link between the organization and the donors. So remember little things about them. The more you know about your donors, the better. And then hopefully when you've done all of those things, then the donor is going to remember you. So they're going to remember you with their gifts, their annual gifts, and they'll someday remember you, hopefully, with a planned gift. And that doesn't mean everyone gets really scared when we talk about planned gifts, right? Oh, I don't understand what a charitable remainder trust is or a charitable gift annuity. You know what? Most people who get charitable gifts get it from just someone who has given them a donation in their will or trust. They've left them in their will or trust. So all you have to do is tell people, remember my organization, remember our organization in your will or trust. And that's the first step to getting a planned giving program together. And then just kind of real quickly, what donors really want. Donors want to feel good. You know, in this time of recession and everyone feels down in the dumps and there's depression, everyone wants to feel good. And how do they feel good? By giving to your organization and for you to let them know what their gift means to your constituents. And then they want to be asked by somebody that they know. It's always nice to have someone that you know make the ask. It gives them a reason to give. They also want to give to something tangible. Your $25 is going to help XYZ for 3 months. They want something tangible to give to. They also right now want flexibility in their gift. I usually can write out a check for $1,000 to an organization. I'm feeling a little pinched right now. Can I give it over 12 months? Can I spread out my gift a little bit? And so you may be able to get a gift that way if the organization is willing to be flexible. And then they want a personalized ask. The more that you can personalize your ask to a particular donor, the greater the funding that I think that you'll receive.